Hi there and welcome to session 1 of the Mastermind Method workshop. I have seen so many people coming into this group ready for this training. It's obviously resonating with a lot of you and I'm excited because over the next 4 days at this time each and every day, I'm coming in to give you my best stuff and really share with you the reason why a mastermind is probably the best model you could start right now or add to your business if you've already got things moving. So I want to make sure that we break down the reasons why that is the case, but also give you the steps so that you can actually start creating that this week as you follow along with the workshop. So I want to make no mistake, this is about actionable training. I want to make sure that you've got what you need. There'll be a chance for interaction. Please fill me in and give me your questions as we go. Or if you're watching this on replay, then just hashtag replay and let me know. But you'll get the most out of it live because you can ask questions. I popped it on my phone this time so that I can see your questions as well. I'm hoping I don't mess it up or that somebody calls me or something and bumps me off. The joys of tech. So can you just hit the like button, or if you're feeling good, the love button, or just a thumbs up to let me know that you're there. You can hear me and you can see me. I just want to get that out of the way because it's amazing how many times you do live streams or webinars and something ridiculous goes wrong and you do the whole training and then realize, uh-oh, nobody can hear me. Oh, great. Thank you for that. I love it. I'm looking to see as well. So hopefully I can see who's on here. I might need to do that on my other computer. I've just got, 2 laptops, a phone, the whole works here. So hopefully we can get it moving. It just makes it so much more fun if I know who's here and we can interact. So once you warm up, don't be shy. Pop in any questions as I go. I am obviously, if you don't know me, I am Australian and I talk fast. So if you're from North America, you might need to just get used to the Australian slang. Oh good, I can see your comment. Thank you, Kathy. That makes it, now I don't have to look over there. I can see when your comments come up. I'm going to see them, so I can definitely respond to them as they come in. Hi Amy, nice to see you. You're always watching my live streams. I love that. Thank you. And it's good to see everyone jumping on because I did a version of this training a couple of months ago. And I wanted to add to it this time. The more I work with people, the more I see what's out there. I'm like hungry for knowledge about what's going on in the market, what's working, what's not. Now, masterminds are not new to me. I've been running one since 2013. So this isn't like, some, little hack that I'm going to share with you. This is an overall strategy, okay? And sorry, I'm just going to flip those text messages off. This is an overall strategy. So I'm going to come to you today with strategy, not just tactics. I want to give you an idea. Hi, Gina or Jenna. I'm not sure if it's Jenna or Gina, but hopefully I got it right. Either way, nice to see you from Perth. Welcome. You're lucky you have been escaping the fires over there. It is ridiculously smoky today out. I'm based in Melbourne. I think it's 900 meters visibility at the moment out there. We are away from the fires in the city. We're not under danger, but it's just all the smoke. So heart goes out to anyone who has been affected by the fires, and that's pretty much a lot of people in Australia. So I hopefully, even if that has been the case, I want to show you a way that is going to kind of get things moving for you in your business, moving for you in terms of what you're sharing out there with your market. And in response to a lot of what I've seen out there in the online world as well, and trends that are happening and things. Some of these, if you're not aware of them, some of them might actually cause a few pitfalls and make you think it's your fault if certain things aren't working. And that's why we need to be constantly adapting, right? So I want to be able to help you do that as best I can during these sessions. I spoke to someone before, I'm not sure if she jumped on the call, but I said the best thing she can possibly do right now is do this training, right? This training, it's absolutely free. I'm here to show up, give you the best concepts, ideas, model for 2020 that could double your business, make no mistake about that, or at least add tens of thousands of, or if not hundreds of thousands of dollars of revenue into your business right now. Okay, so hopefully you have, I pop this on, there's a little, oh gosh, don't mind me, I'm throwing things around here. Hi Amanda, how are you? Make sure you have your workbook. You don't have to print it out like me. I hate printing. Oh, it does my head in. But anyway, if you like to print things, fine. You can just have it up and write notes or journal, whatever works. But the only reason I really want to give you a workbook is to just kind of pull all the sessions together and give you some actionable insights and takeaways so that you can kind of pull it together and have something concrete to get started on and to know what we've covered. Because look, I love to have a few little segues here and there, dance off into different directions, but I'll try and keep on track. I think I want to make sure I'm grateful that you're here and that you're showing up and giving me the time. So I want to make sure that I reward you for that, give you clear, concise, actionable strategies. Happy New Year, Amanda. It's good to see you here. So schedule is today, we're talking about the online course problem. Why perhaps if you've chosen to go that route or that route, if you're in North America, it isn't giving you the flow that you're looking for. And just sort of introducing that mastermind concept for you and show you a better model today. Then tomorrow we are going to talk about pinpointing your marketing message. Now this one is a big one for a lot of people and I cannot wait to dive into that session with you. I like to think I have a little bit of a superpower in that area. Happy to help you get clear on yours. And if at any time, whether you're watching this live, you're watching a replay, or you're just ruminating over this work over the next few days or next week while the training's up, because the training does disappear next week. So you want to make sure you get through this training in that time. Just post, or I'll have threads in here as well for your homework or for you to discuss ideas on each day's topic. There'll also be some $50 Sephora gift cards for people who interact and engage, do their homework, jump in. Don't make me feel like there's crickets in here. There's nothing worse. Oh, great. Thanks for asking, Kathy. The link for the workbook is victoriagibson.com/workbook. victoriagibson.com/workbook. There's another post in there. Even if you search in the group for workbook, you should be able to grab it. Thanks for asking that, Kathy. That was on my reminder list and I skipped it. So anyway, well, that's because I want to make it less, like I often do a lot of webinars. I teach my clients how to do webinars. I really love them. I love having a slide presentation and taking people through that. This training's a little bit more loose, right? So I'm not going to be as structured in a webinar, but that's because I want to be here and I want to be present with you and I want to see, interact with you and give you my best stuff without bogging it down in PowerPoint slides. So that also means sometimes I don't stick to script. So if I miss any of the answers in here, you can always just post and I'll let you know what they are, because I know there's a few of you who love to stick to the rules and like a framework. So I totally respect that and will definitely help you with that if you need. So I think I mentioned I'm doing this over the next 4 days, so make sure you show up for them. Marketing message, that's right, I was in the throes of telling you about that. The other session 3 is all about Facebook. We're going to talk about organic opportunities as well as paid. I know the minute I mention Facebook ads, people go running for the hills and have PTSD from either running campaigns or paying people to run them and they don't work. So we're going to dive into some simple strategies you can use to get started. I love Facebook, so I am not the norm on that front. But anyway, I'm going to show you the areas that you should be focusing on to really make a difference, okay? And then we're going to really dive into how to activate your own mastermind on session 4. So that's on Friday, Melbourne time, Thursday night, US time. So really, it's overall, I'd love you to create your offer, get it out there, know how to price, package, and promote it. Okay, that's the aim of the overall series of training. There's also going to be some cool bonus trainings that come in here. I'll have some case study opportunities. You can ask any questions, as you can in this group anytime, but this is just a nice way to actually get you focused, get you started, okay? A mastermind model is the best model for 2020 online. If you're a coach, you're a consultant, maybe you're already a course creator and you've created a course from your expertise. Perhaps you've been successful in business already and you want to translate that into more leverage and freedom, right? I know that when I started online 10 years ago this year, or I left it took me a while to kind of get my online chops, that's for sure. I did a lot of there's me kicking the phone. I did a lot of consuming information, which you have to do. You have to have a bit of that, but I see way too many people getting stuck in far too much consumption, right, rather than action. And there will be imperfect outcomes, right? There's going to be failures, dare I say it, right? But each way you're going to be failing your way to success. I want to shortcut that as best as possible, right? From Brooklyn. Hi, Monica. I love New York City, Brooklyn. How great. Hopefully you're all rugged up on a chilly night. And yeah, Amy, right? Like, it's easy to get caught in consumption. It's easy to get caught in seeing like tactics and little, things or platforms that you can use, like say, okay, well, I want to do a podcast, or okay, I want to do, an online course is a great example. You sit there, right, there's so much tech, how are you going to create it, all that kind of stuff, right? And you can get mired in that and then overlook the fact that maybe you haven't even validated your marketing message yet. Maybe you're just charging too little to really get the momentum you need. And there you are thinking that your expertise is flawed or there's not enough people out there for you. I can guarantee your people are out there. We've just got to kind of dial in the frequency, right? So it's a little bit like, maybe I'm a little bit too analog, but those days where you get the old transistor radio out and you're kind of moving the knob and you're fine tuning it to get that right signal, or you're traveling into another state and you're trying to find the radio, right? Like it's, if you don't land on that exact spot, it's full of static. It's just like, okay, you're not getting what you need, right? And you might just be slightly off the station, okay? So I don't want you to be giving up. I don't want you to think it's about you. I just want to give you the tools to make it work better for you. So let me dive into the presentation. Otherwise, I'm just going to go off on a tangent all day long. Nothing's for sale today, so don't worry. My intention's just to give you information and give you enough information so you can get insight into how the mastermind model could work. And even if not today, even if you've just got an online course or you're about to create one, I'm going to give you better ideas how to do that in a way that will convert and give you more income, okay? So you might be like, oh, I don't want to do a mastermind. I don't even really know what it is, but it sounds like it's something for gurus. It's not for me, but I do have an online course. And guess what? It's not selling. So Victoria, help me. I'm here to help you, okay? So who am I? For those of you who don't know me, I know I've got a lot of new people thanks to Facebook and Facebook ads. I know a lot of you are interested in the mastermind method because it's been going gangbusters in here. So for those of you who don't know me, I have been online really in its entirety in 2011, even though I left my corporate job in 2010. 2011, I joined my first mastermind, and I was actually lucky enough to be in Marie Forleo's mastermind. Well, I invested in it, cost me 20 grand, but best 20 grand I ever spent, because what it enabled me to do was get really clear on how to create a thriving business online that was going to give me flexibility and freedom as a single mother with two girls. At the time then, my girls would have been 7 and 8, and now they are 15 and 17. So, because different time of the year. So yeah, anyway, if that makes sense. 15 and 17 now, and I've been able to not have to go back to corporate that whole time. I danced early on between coaching and consulting, so if you're still in that space, that's fine. If you're still doing one-on-one private clients, that's fine too. I can give you advice wherever you're at. okay? Whether you want to use speaking, whether you want to do webinars, whether you want to do an online course, whether you want to do workshops, whatever it might be, whatever you're doing now, I'll be able to help you create a path to monthly recurring revenue, attracting the best clients possible, utilizing the best of your expertise, and gaining the confidence to get out there and make it happen, attracting clients day in, day out. I want you to get out of feeling bad that your business isn't working the way you want it to, because we can turn that around, all right? So stay tuned, because I am going to be giving you some advice on how to do that and how to rethink some of the elements maybe you've got going on. Ask any questions as we go, okay? Basically, what I want to talk about is that overlooked opportunity of the mastermind model, right? You probably heard the buzz, and maybe you've joined masterminds, right? But without really thinking that you could have one yourself. And a mastermind, look, just to be clear, a mastermind, it can be a short or a long-term program or an offer. It can be virtual. It can be in person. It can weave in both elements. I like to do that with a hybrid element. It's generally, the hallmark of a mastermind is generally going deeper as a collective, right? So it's more than, hi Brenda, welcome. It's more than just you as the mentor and your clients as a mentee, right? Or coach and student. It's going bigger than you. It's creating a collective, or as Napoleon Hill he coined the term mastermind. It's that third mind that comes from the collective and the collaboration of bringing together like-minded people on the same journey. And that's what we want to activate here. And why it's different than an online course is that an online course can be very surface. It can be very transactional. And I don't care if you tell me, oh no, but mine isn't because I've put all these videos in. I don't care if you put 75 videos in your online course. I'm sure it's fantastic. But and we'll cover this in a minute, what we're finding is that most people are kind of over watching videos, right? Pre-recorded videos in a membership site. Yes, it is a means to an end, and I'm not saying throw it away. What I'm saying is let's get deeper with our clients so that we can give them the results they need. Most of the time, we're finding people just consuming content online is not getting them to the results. So a mastermind, just even, we don't have to have fancy descriptions. It's about creating real connection and real results with your clients, okay, in a more intimate environment. The good news about that is that you can throw out the idea that you have to have 100,000 people on your list, or that you have to be the next Amy Porterfield, Marie Forleo, Denise Duffield Thomas. I love Denise, she's one of my best friends, but you don't have to, and there's nothing wrong with those women. Like I said, I was in Marie's mastermind. I was in Marie's mastermind with Amy, and it was great, and they're great women. But they have, Amy has 300,000 people on her list. Denise would have about the same. Marie's got probably 1 million people on her list, right? And you, with your 156 people on your list, or even your 5,000 people on your list, aren't going to be in the same. Hi Cass, how you going? Oh, you're from Victoria too. I'm sure you're shrouded in smoke today, like I am, unfortunately. There's nothing wrong with shooting for that. But what I'm finding is that there's this belief that an online course is just the answer. If I create my online course, then I can create my online income. And there's some barriers standing in the way to that I'm going to go into. Yes, you can have evergreen, you can still have your course, Kathy, absolutely. So this today is about actually just taking that course and adding value, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And even if you don't have a course yet, I started my first mastermind and enrolled $81,000 in revenue, filled it the first time for a 6-month program without an online course. Okay, so that absolutely is possible whether you have an online course or not. So the good news is you don't have to have a big list. You don't have to be certified, right? Like the other things that come up for people are, well, I need to be, there's other people who do that, they're better than me. A lot of people want to talk about law of attraction or money. And they say, but there's so many other people out there doing that. Well, guess what? There's so many people who want that information. Think about some of the busiest or, most competitive niches out there. They include my niche, business coaching, right? Huge. If I sat there and thought, well, there's other people who are better than me or do it better, I wouldn't get anything done. Weight loss, law of attraction, absolutely. All that kind of stuff. So that's fine. It doesn't matter. There's enough people out there. What we want to do is get you dialing in that radio frequency so you can hit the station and go. People can hear you clearly. And now more than ever is the time for that to be the case. Absolutely. It's now, even since I started online in 2010, the tools and opportunities available are so much better, but they can also be a lot more overwhelming. So I want to help you kind of cut through that clutter as well, okay? This training isn't about growing your list or tech tools you need. I can answer those questions if you want to ask me, no drama. There's no question I cannot answer in relation to ads, online tools, tech. Trust me, I get it too. I'm just like you. I'm a student in this area as well as a teacher, right? But you can ask me those questions. What I find is that oftentimes the people I'm talking to, coaches, consultants, experts, whoever it is who want to create this, hi Fiona, welcome, are bogged down in the tools or the kind of how. Like it's like, well, how do I do it? How do I do it? Rather than thinking about hang on a minute, let's get the actual overall foundation right. The rest of it we can figure out. I know it feels overwhelming, but the more you stay stuck in that, it's an excuse to not put yourself out there. It's an excuse not to connect and engage with your audience. I'd rather you be spending time connecting and engaging and converting rather than stuck in all the tools and creating courses that you haven't even got an audience to buy yet, okay? Oh, from Auckland, hi Fiona, you have the best Prime Minister ever, you lucky thing. I love Kiwis, so welcome if there's any other Kiwis on board watching as well. So we're not, you've probably seen, I've even seen about 4 campaigns this past week about creating a course, growing your list, and they're all noble pursuits. Do not get me wrong. Like an online course is an asset you can have time and time again. I'm not here to tell you never to do an online course. What I'm telling you is if that approach isn't quite working for you right now, there's some other things you can consider and another model you could overlay utilizing what you've already done or what you already know that is going to make your journey so much easier. I cannot tell you, right? And otherwise, there's lots of people going, great, I'll create my freebies and build my list, and then they don't make any offers, right? So they've got these people joining their list and then they never follow up with them because they're still not confident in their message. They don't have an offer yet because they're too busy creating it, right? So I want to get you out of that. I want to get you more clients coming in, and that's really the aim of the training this week. So I hope you're on board with that. Hit the like button if you are, because this is for you. You may be already a service provider, right? You might be a web designer. You might be a digital marketer. You know, you might be helping people with their digital marketing. You might be hang on, sorry, my love, I've just got to pop those up. You might be a website creator. You might be a law of attraction specialist. You might be a Reiki master. You might be an energy healer. You might be a massage therapist, kinesiologist. You might be a business coach like me. Or you might be you help people write books, or, you know, there probably is not too many of these niches that I haven't helped people in. Someone like, even I'm just seeing Amanda, a past client of mine before, helping beautiful accountants run their business better. Like there's a whole raft of things that you could be helping people with, and this is for you. If you're a coach or consultant, you've been successful before in your career, maybe you haven't got clients yet, that's okay. We're going to help you move the needle on that as well. Maybe you already have a business, but you've kind of maxed out in that time for money trap and doing a lot of one-on-one or in-person stuff. Then this is a way to kind of get you moving with some more leverage, because the key and the core to the mastermind is it becomes bigger than you. Whereas an online course is always going to be about the online course or about you and about getting people in all the time and this hustle and this scale. Whereas a mastermind can be a beautiful, intimate opportunity for you to make more money with less people, but create more meaning. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense of the direction that we're heading. I also want to talk about how the digital landscape has changed, and I've definitely been able to see this from 2010 to 2020. So over the last 10 years, I've seen massive shifts. And look, I wasn't even early to market in this game. There's plenty of people who've been around longer than I. I was completely fresh and new when I jumped in from corporate, and I used to, you know, write and speak and blog with all my, you know, corporate lingo, and I had to learn the art of direct response marketing. And when you are opened up to that world, it makes such a difference in terms of the momentum you get. But you do have to learn it, right? Like, it takes a little bit of time. But I've seen the landscape change, and I've seen some trends happen. So I want to open the door, or the trends that are happening right now, right? So I want to open the door today to a method that works to help you increase your revenue, right? Attract higher caliber clients and get them great results, and for you to enjoy what you're doing. So get out of the consumption, get out of the creation, and just get into the actual conversion and helping people, right? Because that's what we started this for. Who knew it was going to be so hard? I'm not here to tell you, hey, click your fingers, it's all easy, but it can be easier than what it is right now for you. And the reason I know that is I talk to a lot of people in your position. I have clients in this position. I have been doing this since I first created Mastermind in 2013, showing people this way. And before that, I was a consultant. I started with Facebook ads back in 2011, doing people's Facebook ads, teaching Facebook ads with an online course. So I created my first online course. I think I got it live. I thought about it from 2011. Don't get me wrong. I got it live in 2012, and I was able to sell, 20 of them at $97, and I was like, woo, people bought it. And what I discovered is it was actually a really hard process to do, even with ads. And that gave me a couple of grand or whatever, or maybe 20 or 30, but maybe even 30 people bought it, which is pretty good straight out the gate. But $3,000 wasn't probably even going to cover, most of my expenses at all. So what I discovered is, well, I've done that, and I'd offered this 6-week course, but hang on, how was I going to keep making money, right? Or maybe you're just in the, well, I've created it, but no one's buying it. Perhaps you are like where I was, where people are buying it, but that's not giving you the revenue that you need, right? So let's talk about those 3 trends that I want to highlight and really go into, and hopefully these resonate for you, in that it might sort of open your mind to thinking about why things haven't been flowing the way they should, or where the opportunity is for you. Because I don't want to get bogged down in saying things don't work, it's so hard. You might be like, hey, I'm flowing along, I just want to do a lot better, I want to learn more. I've definitely taken my own advice over the last 6 months, going back into being a student. I think I got to a point where I've seen that before, I've heard that before, and you probably thought that even about my training here today, or about you see another course on creating a course, right? It starts to get boring, and you think, I've already heard that, I know about opt-in pages, I know about ads, but something's not working. I had to say to myself, well, hang on, keep going back, always be a good student and be listening and learning, all right? So in doing that, I've kind of joined the dots on perhaps why some things aren't working, or some things could work better for you. Okay, so if you're in it, hopefully you're on board with that, and you're feeling ready to hear some more of that about that. But and you're probably great examples of this, is that consumers online are more discerning than ever before, right? There's not that new shiny object thing anymore, where it's like, oh my God, could I get clients on Facebook? Oh, could I use Facebook ads to get clients? Oh, could I put my information into an online course? Hi, Nancy. All those things that I think 10 years ago, people were like, what? Does this even exist? What the? People are now like, oh yeah, I've seen that. Oh yeah, I saw there's an online course. Like, case in point, Masterclass. Who's seen Masterclass? Pop your thumbs up, let me know. Where you can learn to be an author from James Patterson. You can learn how to sing with Christina Aguilera. Serena Williams, she'll teach you how to play tennis, okay? So if you're gonna get stuck in, okay, I wanna create an online course, and I'm not the best expert, like, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna differentiate from that? Now, that is one of the best examples to show you the real momentum you can get from a mastermind. Masterclass, that online course, big business that has all the best experts in the world sharing their information online. People can access that for $100, right? So what are you're going to teach people to write books and compete with James Patterson and Masterclass, who have a list of multi-millions number of people? No, you're going to be you. There's power in small, right? And the difference, the way that you can capture attention and then engage and convert those people, is that you're going to be doing things like this, showing up live, or you're going to be being showing more of your personality, connection, and creating those intimate, deeper spaces where you can actually help people get results. Because I would probably think maybe 70%, 80% even, people who buy those masterclass courses don't even finish watching them. So you go, great, I bought that Serena Williams tennis masterclass. Guess what? I bet your tennis game hasn't, maybe you got one tip out of it and great, you haven't played for a while and whatever. Because nobody's re-engaging. They might have some autoresponder follow-ups where you get emails, hey, you haven't logged in for a while, all those things. That's all great. But at the end of the day, it's automated and Serena doesn't really care that you're not showing up, right? She didn't give a shit. She's been paid already, right? So how can you be different? The way you're going to be different is that you're going to care. Okay, so that is the difference between an online course and a mastermind, right? You care, they know you, they have access to you. So what comes up from, maybe this is coming up for you is, but oh shit, hang on, I don't want my clients to be able to contact me all the time. I've already got one-on-one clients that are so demanding and it's exhausting, and I just want to make money and not have to talk to clients, right? Well, you're probably thinking that because you're over-delivering and you're undercharging, right? And when you're stuck in that cycle, having more clients or giving more clients or clients more access to you or charging more just feels too scary, right? But I'm going to show you how to do this with leverage this week. This isn't, and I will tell you how to structure so that you can avoid some of those pitfalls. Trust me, I've made some mistakes in running masterminds over my time, don't get me wrong. But I've also created some amazing successes. I've also had amazing friendships. I still catch up with my clients, for a drink and, or whatever it might be, dinner. They tell me what they're doing. They come and still go, oh, what do you think about this? Like it's like they're some of my most treasured relationships, right? So who would have thunk it, right? Like as my grandma used to say, who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk that someone would pay you money, but you'd actually really like them and enjoy working with them? Who would have thunk it? Well, when you have an online course, you might not know who that person is because you've got to have so many that you haven't got time to help them. Or you've charged so little, you can't go deeper and do what it really takes. Because I could sit here and go, and look, quite frankly, I have a Facebook ads course of $47. You can go buy it. I wouldn't recommend it, right? Which sounds ridiculous, but I've got it because I went on this journey. I've been on this journey for a long time and I've created a lot of stuff. It's up to date and look, it'll tell you how to do ads, but I know most people will not succeed with it because they need my advice, they need my copy ideas for their ads. All the stuff that I do in a mastermind, I help people set up from scratch, funnel step by step. Here's the copy, change this, move the webinar, maybe do this video. I wouldn't do that, I'd change this copy, right? That's what they need to succeed, not just another Facebook ads course. And do a little thumbs up if you've been buying a lot of courses and you haven't been finishing them, so you know exactly what I'm talking about because I've been doing that for 10 years. And in fact, I love going through my Dropbox and just having a look at, oh, I forgot about that course. Oh shit, one day I should look at that. Do I? No, because I ain't got time. And nor the inclination. I love seeing at least one thumbs up. Send me more. I love it. I'm just a, shameless attention seeker. So does that land for you? Do you get that? The whole great, do an online course, but you people probably not going to get the results, right? And because you may be not as established or you're no Serena Williams in the tennis game, you think you have to make it cheaper. Oh, okay, well, I'm only new, so I'll make it $47 or I'll make it $97. Well, let's talk about how many of those you have to sell to reach your minimum 10 grand a month, because you've got to be making 10 grand a month in this business. Otherwise, you actually can't pay for basic sort of software, advertising, whatever it might be. Glad it resonates, Monique. Thanks for that. So this is where people are going wrong, because for some reason, I don't know where this got downloaded because I believed it too. So I don't know where it comes from or what the origin of it is, but we think, okay, we're going to share some stuff online. What are we going to do? We're going to create an online course, and then people buy the online course, or the other big one is a low price membership. Memberships are great. I don't mind memberships at all, but these low price ones with people who don't have a big audience are like a recipe for disaster. And I've seen the car crashes that ensue from this model time and time again. I've never seen anyone do it. Maybe Melanie Duncan back in the day, she used to have a cool $97 a month membership model that used to work gangbusters. That girl, everything she used to do just used to give me the shits because she always did it so well. And I'd be like, God damn it. I went to one online, a conference in Washington, DC in 2012. And they said, okay, everyone can come up and you get a 2-minute speaker slot to talk on your expertise. And then we're going to award a prize and you get something, get to speak at next year's conference. That's what it was. And I was like, great, I'm going to do it. I'm going to speak on Facebook ads. And there was Melanie. Melanie was going to talk on Pinterest. And of course, she did this presentation, totally nailed it and came first. And then they're like, and Victoria, yours was great too, you're second. But there she was, just gutting it, doing great things. And I'd be sitting there going, well, if I just created my online course, I could do that too. But guess what? I didn't have I didn't have a husband who's an online marketing guru behind the scenes creating everything. That was probably one of my other issues. I didn't have a team. And I wasn't spending tons of money. I was running ads for other people at the same time, right? So I had everything going on everywhere. I didn't zero in on my expertise because I wasn't confident in myself, right? I mean, that totally rattled me when Melanie Duncan won that thing. It gave me the shits and then I hated her. But I had no reason to hate her. She was super nice. And in fact, we both got to speak on the same stage the next year. We both got invited to do a social media presentation. And she's delightful, lovely. She'd never done anything wrong to me. I just hated her because I was so pissed off with myself that I could not get this working. It was so frustrating to me because I'm like, I am a smart person. I've run a team. I've run a shopping center that creates $25 million in profit each year. I've been responsible for that. I've worked, obviously my team, I'm not fully responsible. I know that. But I'm not a dum-dum. So why the fuck isn't this working, right? And excuse my F-bombs. I don't drop them all the time, but sometimes it needs to be said, right? It's frustrating. And I remember that so well, is that I had that download of, we have to create a course and that's going to be the answer. And I saw people like Melanie Duncan doing hers. And in fact, she came to me to do her Pinterest webinar to my list, and she was going to do mine to her list. And I just got so head up. I just went, mine's no good. I don't know. The whole thing, right? So you can probably relate to that. If not, you just probably think I'm absolutely crazy. But that is where I was. So now, even in that phase, I probably still could have got things going with an online course, but now it's so much harder. So it kind of breaks my heart when I see a lot of this marketing out there. So create your course, because you probably do not, I'll go into this in a minute, but I won't go into that tangent now because I cover that in a minute, but it breaks my heart because I know you're going to sit there like me, flipping around for years, not doing what you should be doing. Thank goodness for the Mastermind model, because that was what saved me. It absolutely saved me out of course creation hell that never worked. The courses just never worked for me, and they still don't to this day. I have some there. I do some ads and funnel. No, they still don't work. So I give you permission to take what you have and put it in. The good thing is I still have it all there for my Mastermind members. Hey, you can go and watch that video if you want, or I'll just tell you. And so I still have that opportunity to have it. It's just if I was still reliant on online courses to support my online shopping habit, then I would not have many parcels delivered each day. Let's just say that. However, Mastermind has given me on average $25,000 a month since I started 2013. So sometimes, I've had $50,000 months. Generally it lands around $30,000, but on average over that whole time, every month on average, $25,000 a month. Now that can support my online shopping habit, okay? And probably my teenage daughters as well. Okay, would I like it to be 50,000, 75,000? Absolutely, I would love that. But I'm getting there, okay? I'm a late bloomer. I remember interviewing Marie Forleo for a B-School launch a couple of years ago, and she's like, I was a turtle. She would see those unicorns and things happening and people just come in and just go and blow up. And she's like, what is wrong with me? I am like that. I'm like, really? Oh, that person, I know that person, or I've taught that person that, and look at them, they're making millions, and you're just like, what? Right? It happens, okay? So I think it's even worse now because there's so much information out there, and there's so many tools out there now too. So what happens is you're consuming all these courses, you don't finish them, you hear a new thing, a shiny object here, this is going on here, and then there's like, oh great, what platform? And then you go in this tech nightmare of how does that work and what is it, and you sit there playing with all that, and guess what? While you're doing that, you're not creating content that's going to connect with your audience. You're not actually out there helping people. You're not showing people how to get results in advance, right? right? I always say to people, don't worry, just figure that course shit out later. Just let's get your message worked out. Let's get your positioning. Let's start getting consistent and get it moving, okay? That's so much more important. You're gonna be able to validate things so much quicker, particularly if you're not Melanie Duncan and you don't have your husband Devon doing everything in the background for you. And I'm not saying she wasn't working, because I'm sure that girl was, but it is a lot easier if you have a partner or somebody doing things. But I get it. Solo, you're running solo and you can have people to help you, but when you're bootstrapping, where do you choose to put your money? So let's go as lean as we possibly can to add more revenue, but also more importantly, let's get our clients some great results. You don't want to be that thing that they buy and they don't take action on, because that doesn't make you feel good either, okay? So that's the other thing, is that there's the whole market. That trend is online information. It's not as new and snazzy anymore. It's not like you can just get in and cut through with an online course. There are some niches that could still work with that, absolutely, but not many are left now. So it's not as sexy. It doesn't convert as well. It's not as instantaneous to get those conversions. Okay, so what we're finding now is you put stuff out and you go, hey, I've got a law of attraction course. Whoop-de-doo. Particularly if you're not a great marketer and you haven't fine-tuned your radio knob, you're going to hear crickets, right? And then you've spent all this time creating it and no one's buying it. And then you think you're shit. It's not that you're shit. It's just that your marketing is not where it needs to be and the actual offer isn't working for you, okay? So the other thing is that download that we have, that an online course is the answer. Also, what we don't see is behind the scenes, or we don't see even some of those bigger companies getting out of online courses. The ones who've made a lot of money out of it switch and change out of it because they know it's not as profitable anymore. So even when you see some people making, I don't know, $1 million, $2 million out of online courses, where that is like a course that they buy, they invest in, and it ends, right? So it's like an open close, they do a launch, or maybe it's evergreen, right? What you don't know is that they're spending $1,000 to $5,000 a day on Facebook ads to make that convert, to make that work. They have a team in the background. It might not be a big team, but they're paying people to help them. It's virtually impossible to get, even say, I believe it's impossible to get to 6 figures a year with an online course. There's a couple of exceptions. I've had some as clients, so don't come down on me like a ton of bricks here, but I think it's impossible to even get to 6 figures without investing in ads and without having a working lead generation funnel, right? So if you haven't got that running and you're thinking, well, I just need to sell this many, but you've got no path to that, then you're setting yourself up for failure, and there is a better way, okay? So don't forget that we see companies like your Mind Valleys who, if you just Google them and you see all their personal development authors and speakers that they help turn into big courses. They've got a big team, a big head office, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on Facebook ads to sell those courses to make that business viable, right? So, and you want to create a course and you think that's going to work? Well, I'm here to tell you it's unlikely, which I don't want to be a doomsayer, but it is unlikely. From what I've seen, it's pretty unlikely, okay? Unless you follow a few of the tips I might give you today, okay? So the amount of software out there has made all this even harder than it's made it easier in some ways, but then harder to know what to choose, how to get the most out of it, to not feel stuck in that overwhelm of what tool to use and have to get to learn it and all that stuff. It's super hard. So what happens is it keeps everyone in a perpetual planning mode, right? They're just like confused, they're overwhelmed. They sit there going, I had someone, like I said before, talking to me today going, okay, well, here's the course, this is what I've created. And I'm like, well, that's great, you've created it, but who the hell knows about it? Nobody. What's your message? Who's it for? I don't know who it's for, and I don't know what you're going to help them do, right? And until we figured that out, don't even bother building anything, right? We need to figure that out, okay? So it used to be the case that you could probably crack out an online course and get things moving and get some good money and then start to build on it and move it. I've definitely seen examples of that amongst people within my networks and people I've been in masterminds with and all of this sort of things. So no worries, Brenda, you can definitely come back. The replay will be up for a while. So Gina, you were just saying, do we advertise our mastermind as a mastermind, or does it just come under the category? I'm scared to press this because I think it might do something silly. Or does it just come under the category of mastermind? Just trying to work out so I can place things. Is a money bootcamp classed as a mastermind? So Denise's money bootcamp is an online course, right? She has a Facebook group and she does live calls, but you do not get one-on-one access to Denise. And in fact, Denise is the best person at Boundaries that I know. In terms of if you needed to have a one-on-one session with her or you needed to ask a specific question, it's unlikely you're going to get an in-depth answer because she has so many people in there. So Denise has an online course. So I'm saying there are the unicorns out there like Denise who make it work, like Marie Folio, like Amy Porterfield. They're probably some of the biggest course creators we know in our world that it works. But what I'm saying is that everyone sees that and thinks that they can do that from scratch, right? And look, Denise, I've known Denise since 2011. So I've seen her build that from scratch, right? So it is possible, don't get me wrong. But she is so dedicated. She has never changed onto a shiny object. She had that as the money bootcamp. We sat there and we hired a video guy back in 2012 in Florida to do some videos. And oh my God, she's another one. It's just like I sit here, I'm tear my hair out going, oh, but I wish I could do that. And I just couldn't. Anyway, she'd just get on the camera and talk about the tapping and so natural and engaging and connected on this video. And I sat there like umming and ahhing about, blah, blah, Facebook. That was so shit. I burst into tears. And Denise, she's so lovely. She never makes you feel bad. She has not got a bitchy bone in her body. She's so pragmatic, right? She just sits there and goes, it's okay, Victoria, just do it again. The information was really good. It was so shit. So there she was. I remember she did those original videos while I was sitting there. I watched her do them and that created her first 7 figures with those videos, right? So it is possible, don't get me wrong, but have I seen it be the norm? No, right? And she has got that dream of the online business. So has Amy Porterfield, where they've got tons and tons of clients coming in paying the money. They're making multi-millions of dollars, but they aren't doing any one-on-one. They aren't diving in, helping. And I'm not saying you have to do one-on-one either. You can still have leverage. You can still keep it group. But what you can do is like with a mastermind, like what I've got, is that I can answer questions. I can go in and I can give critiques, feedback, get the needle moving for people, but I don't get overwhelmed because I have a smaller number of people, so it's a lot more intimate. I mean, I do not have a list of 100,000 plus. My list is, in fact, as it stands, because I did a big cull, I think about 4,000 people, right? So I used to have, years ago, this is my problem. You're gonna hear all my regrets, regrets, I've had a few. Yeah, I've had a lot of them, right? And one of them, I used to have a 10,000 person list in 2012, right? I could imagine what I could have 8 years later. But guess what? I didn't stay consistent. So when Denise and I are sitting in that room in Florida, I can see her path with that online course and how she made that happen completely. And I can see why mine didn't go the same way. But what I was able to have was utilizing the skills and what I wanted to do and how I wanted to work with people. I could still have, on average, a great amount of revenue, much more than I was making a corporate gig, right? Consistently come to me without fancy launches, without the headaches of, shit, we've got to get people buying this and this and this. We would set mastermind clients to come up and work with you for longer, pay you monthly, or pay me monthly, right? So I have recurring revenue that builds upon itself. So I'm not just relying on a big launch, because also the other thing that's going on is those launch strategies are not working anymore. Those big blah, 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 affiliate this, do that, rah, rah, like all of that stuff. I guarantee if you've probably done it and not had it work, you've done a Jeff Walker video series, right? Don't worry, we've all done. Do you know what I actually did with one of those in 2013? Is that I created one of those and my good friend Jodie Jealous filmed it for me. And those videos have had thousands of views, by the way. But I was so scared to make an offer, I didn't. I did a Jeff Walker video series, let's just be clear here, without an offer. So don't worry, I've made the mistakes of the mistakes, trust me. So I want to save you from those because they're hellish. If I start adding them up, I'm gonna start needing a drink other than my water, okay? So don't worry, I've done it. But I wanna make sure that you don't as well, okay? So It's more about that up close support and custom guidance. It doesn't mean you have to give yourself over and have those vampire clients. You start creating really, really strong boundaries, and it becomes so much enjoyable because you know your clients are not just a faceless email who sends a support request going, I can't log in, right? Like, you're really serving people and you're creating deep and meaningful connection, not just between you and the client, but between the client as a group, okay? So when we ignore these trends about the online course and we stay hellbent, oh, I don't want to deal up close and personal, I want to create passive income. Yes, an online course is an asset, don't get me wrong. Like, it can work for some people, but most people it is not working for because of those trends that I listed, okay? So I would suggest looking at this as an alternative if you are here to really create transformation, because most people buy online courses and don't do shit with them. And let me be completely honest, only the other day did I totally finish Denise's Lucky Bitch Money Boot Camp, because I was like doing a bit of work, and like I said, I was reactivating. I want to be a student again. I love Denise's stuff. I know she practices what she preaches, and she creates that. She literally creates that stuff. You know, she does what she teaches. And I finished it and I was like, oh, that's actually really good. Or that last section I'd never got to because I didn't have time. And I thought, oh, well, I already know what she teaches. She tells me herself, right? But it was great, but I didn't finish it. I only just finished it, years later. And that's unfortunately what most people will do. So you cannot substitute that actual hands-on help or the, that fast-tracking people the way you can in a smaller, more intimate group, and the way that they can see themselves and that they can see others and see their journey and see it reflected back in themselves in that mastermind environment, okay? Have that collective, okay? So, Gina, I am sure it is what you're searching for. Trust me, it is such a fast track to getting paid so much more than you can on this online course thing. So what's happening, and I will try and stick to the script a little with the mistakes, like why you're not seeing the results that you deserve, is that mistake number one, you price too low and you don't have access to an audience to make it work, okay? So what that means is, think about it. So if you're looking for you fill in the blanks, first one, price too low. Oh, great, we're up to the first bit. I'm going to start powering along a little bit. I love having these conversations though, because I forget about half this stuff too. And I'm sure you'd rather hear that you're not as bad, you're not making as many mistakes as I used to make. I don't want you to make those mistakes because, trust me, they not only cost a lot of money, they hurt your pride. But oh well, we move onward and upward, right? So mistake number one, you price too low. Let's think about it. Most people say to me, I want to earn, they might be earning $4,000, $2,000 a month in their business. That's probably the most common amount of people who come to me. They're earning about that, and that they want to get to say 10 grand. Well, let's have a look at that with your $97 course, which is the price point that most people have, right? You need to spend probably at least, you have to sell 103 of those courses, which that's okay, I hear people go, and then I'll sell 100 of those a month, and I'm like, how big is your list? And they never want to tell me the number because it's like super embarrassing. They're still working on the website. They haven't got a funnel. They tell me, 156. Sorry, what was that? 156? Okay, well, guess what? That's the amount of people you have on your list now, but you need that a month to buy from you. The average conversion rate of just a sales page is, say, 2%, right? So you need to you have to pay traffic to get that traffic to come to you. That's going to cost you at least, $1 a visit, right? So you need about 10,000 visits to get there. I don't know, my maths might be faulty, but it's somewhere around that level, right? And then, so you got to spend 10K to make 10K. The maths doesn't add up. Okay, so that's mistake number one. We keep the prices so low. Now, I'm not saying sorry, I'm going to flick off my notifications. I'm not saying that you can't have a low price online course as an entry level, or you've already got it and you want to keep selling it. That's fine. What I would recommend that you do instead is let's have a rework at how we can add some more value in there and how we can start selling that at a higher price without creating another online course. You do not need to do that. We just need to get human. We need to get some connection, and we need to show up, and we need to engage, and we need to have a conversion event to get people there. We don't need a fancy Jeff Walker spending 10 grand on videos, right? Jeff Walker, God love him, I went to his event a couple of years ago. It's great. He's a great marketer. But the time is kind of done for that high gloss launch model unless you have a gazillion affiliates, right? So people like James Wedmore and Stu McLaren and maybe Sage, whatever her name is, can't remember her last name. They all do those. They're all in Jeff Walker's big mastermind. Notice that I said Jeff Walker's mastermind because that's where he makes his money. Not his online course, not product launch formula. That's just like tick the box so that people go to his mastermind. And then people like Stu McLaren and James and Sage and all the other people that are in that in the mastermind, yes, they follow what he says. So I'm not saying it's flawed, but it's unlikely to work for you just starting out, right? The reason that works is because they get all their friends to mail for them. So it works by sheer volume. And even then it still goes down. It's still so much lower than it used to be. And that's why these guys all have masterminds. Now, the only two people I see really walking their walk with this and probably the Amy, Marie and Denise thing is that they don't have a mastermind. I used to be in Marie's mastermind. She stopped hers because she was making, 10 million bucks in an online course. So it actually worked. What she had worked. And to be honest, she did follow Jeff Walker's product launch formula and it still works. But a lot of what is happening now is just sheer size of getting sheer scale, right? Their lists are at such a huge level that even if they convert lower, they're still doing big numbers, right? You don't have that list, okay? So, well, you might, and good luck to you if you do. Well, let's work out a plan for that as well. I have online course creators in my mastermind. They don't all just do small, high touch. I have people who do have an online course and they want to power it up and get it converting. And we can make that happen too. But I just want to show you an alternative if you have been trying with the online course method and it hasn't been working as it should. So mistake number 2 is that people get really concerned about organic methods and spending a lot of time on list building, blogging, and organic social media to bring in clients. I'm not saying don't do them because they all have their, their role to play, like absolutely. But if you're relying on that alone and you're not actually investing in getting some clients, either with joint ventures where you give affiliate commissions to other people who have large numbers of your audience, or you invest in paid traffic, which is what I recommend, then you're going to find the growth incredibly slow. There is so much noise online now to just try and get momentum from a blog post. And particularly what I find is a lot of people will do blog posts and not even put a call to action on the end, or not even have an email follow-up sequence from an opt-in, and all those kind of things, all those missed opportunities, meaning that your beautiful expertise just gets stalled, right? Not enough people see it. You can't get enough momentum. You're not charging enough. And the other mistake I hear is that when you do get an online course sale for say 197 or whatever it might be, 97, you are delivering one-on-one coaching alongside it because you feel so insecure about your expertise that you feel like you have to offer so much more, or you're giving it as a beta or a beta program, right? And then, so you're burning yourself out and you haven't got time to create more connection and engagement and show up just with the right message where you could get things moving a whole lot more, okay? So mistake number 2 is you've got no lead generation system beyond organic, right? Mistake number 3 is you don't have a compelling message to market. We're going to go into this tomorrow, so I'm going to go through the structure of that and what you need, so make sure you show up for that because that is really at the heart of what you need to succeed. Make no mistake there. So what I see people do is, because as experts, we know a lot, right? And we want to share everything we know. So we think, okay, we'll pick a category and just talk about that. And generally, that doesn't work because you're trying to talk to everyone because you've got a fear of missing out, or that, but you don't, your expertise will help those people, and that's fine. But when we're looking at dialing in the frequency on the radio, we're just not quite hitting right on the spot. Okay, so the more specific we can get here, the better. And I've got a way to kind of take you through that tomorrow. So that might also be a problem. Click like if you think you have that problem as well. Let me know. I see a lot of it. Some people don't realize they have it. So that might be something you might want to post in here and validate and go, hey, am I on track with this? It's a lot easier to get people to invest at a higher level and get them great results when you're very clear and specific about the outcome that you're going to provide. Even if you might fall into a trap of going, but people don't pay a lot for weight loss, or people don't pay a lot for, I don't know, what are some of the other things that people talk about? I can't think off the top of my head, but a lot of times people say that to me. People don't want to pay a lot of money for weight loss. Well, I used to have a client, Brittany Watkins, who sold $9,000 weight loss programs quite successfully using Facebook ads to cold traffic. So I think you can just let go of that belief, right? I've also had clients who have, $400 online courses that we're selling on Facebook ads for weight loss too. But it's as easy to sell a $9,000 course as it is a $497. And in fact, lower price online courses are harder to sell because people don't think that the value's there, because they think that they have to do it themselves or the quality isn't going to be there, right? So you're actually probably doing your expertise a disservice. Even though you packed everything great in there, by underpricing it, you probably just got your knob off the right frequency, right? So Kathy's asking, can you address how to do a good ad that does convert? Yes, so on Friday Australian time, I'm not sure, I think Kathy, you might be from the States, or maybe you're Australian. Friday, 1 p.m. Melbourne time, I'm going to be talking all about ads. So I go into detail there about the ads, and you've said you've hired someone who's very good, but my ads produce very little. 87 people, 600... Oh my goodness, that's like really bad. 87 people for $650 is that 87 sales? If it's 87 sales, that's great. If it's 87 signups to a list, that's like horrible. And that would I can definitely diagnose things. Even if you're in another post, you want to show me your landing page, show me the offer where you're sending the ads to. I can normally tell by the landing page. If I can't see on the landing page, you can post a screenshot of the ad and I'll tell you. If I can't tell by the ad, it'll be the targeting, right? So there's different layers. But I'm more than happy to tell you what's gone wrong with that, absolutely. And I'll be sharing more in detail about ads too. Today isn't the only training, because as you can see, it's such a broad topic, right? There's so many little things that can be going wrong that we need to iron out. And I bet you're going to be, if you haven't got it already, you're going to be one of my PTSD people from Facebook ads, right? And that you run it and you spend $650 and get 87 opt-ins and go, oh, the ads don't work for me. That's not true. They work. They absolutely work. We've just got to dial it in. Okay, so, and Cass is asking, do you feel that a mastermind for highly sensitive subject can be done online? Yes, I love that question. Thanks, Cass, for bringing that up, right? Because I've had clients who talk about fertility and IVF, right? So their lack of fertility and their journey on IVF and not being able to have a baby. And that course creator, she had an online course. It was $67, right? Where she was going to teach the mindset to move through fertility. And she had 3 sales and one of them refunded. 87 to this, Kathy, I've got to help you. Can you just put in another post, put the ad, the landing page, and we'll go through that. Back to that course creator, it's a highly sensitive topic. So fertility, right? So she sold 3, $67, one refund, and she said to me, no, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to just help people with their website design. I said, no, back up, right? There's gold there. The message to market, she was the case of her message to market was great. Her marketing and her pricing and her value proposition was off, right? So we worked together to spin that around, and she made 10 grand in the first week we put that offer out there. With the same course, she didn't create a new course, we just added value and made it more a mastermind. And she said to me, no, people won't want to talk about their fertility in a group. They won't want to share that. Yes, they do, because guess what? All the other people who aren't dealing with infertility issues are sick of hearing about their infertility issues and aren't giving them the compassion and the connection that they are longing for to get through such a traumatic experience. And she was so well poised to help people. And the momentum that she created after that was unbelievable, and I loved it. So that's where it was like, your online course isn't broken, your value proposition is, and that's what we need to change. And we just needed to change up the wording and get it moving, and it just absolutely ran away, which was great. You were also asking there, Cass, excuse my thumb on the screen, non-existent lists, are about to launch a free webinar. There was a 6-week program and also a mastermind. I wonder if I don't do the 6-week online program. Jump straight to the mastermind. Absolutely. Why create, because what you'll do is you'll do the 6-week thing at a lower price, over deliver anyway. Why not create a better container and go deeper? Absolutely. And highly sensitive, the other highly sensitive one that I had was finances, right? So mums wanting to make more money and save more money and have more money. And she was saying, oh, well, no one really wants to talk about their finances and their debt and stuff in a group. Yes, they do, right? So let go of those beliefs, right? The beauty of a mastermind, another example is one of my clients, Jana, had a How to Want It More program, right? So she came to me, she had an online course, it actually was selling, and I can identify when you've got a great message to market. I've worked behind the scenes on so many clients, Facebook ads and programs. I'll tell you straight away whether it's going to work or it's not. How to want it more. What am I talking about? Married women wanting sex with their husbands, right? So now you're going to think nobody's going to want to talk about their sex life in a mastermind. Well, guess what? They do, because who the hell else is going to listen to them apart from the odd girlfriend talk about the fact that their husband's tapping them on the shoulder and they do not want to have sex with their husband, but they know that it's destroying their marriage and they need to turn it around. So she was selling this for $97. It was going well, but it wasn't covering her costs, right? It was still working, but it wasn't covering her costs. So even with that one, we just flipped that to $497, and we created a webinar rather than just like an entry-level funnel. So we were able to do that, and she made 25K out of that in 1 month. So sometimes it's just a shift. I'm not here to go, okay, well, we have to create this big program. Sometimes you might just want to shift what you already have. And that was 5xing the price. And she's like, no one's going to pay. No, I wanted her to do $997, and I'm still convinced it would sell at $997. She didn't want to. So we find the balance, right? I'm not going to be that bossy and make you do everything I say. Well, maybe. I am a bit bossy, but it's because sometimes you need to borrow my belief in what you've got going. Not all the time is everything going to work 100%. I'm not here to tell you I'm that great. If I was, I'd charge a whole lot more. But I can generally find the opportunity there and direct you in the right set you in the right direction to make it happen. Yeah, okay, Cass, so domestic violence, yeah, definitely. That is something that people want to borrow others' strength on. What I find with that niche, I've had a few people who, I haven't seen anyone do it well. I've had a few people who've very much intended to take that category and address it. What I think you have to do is, and I've had this with clients who've dealt with divorce, you have to kind of almost add another filter on there. So they're women who have perhaps had experience in the realm of domestic violence or been abused, but they're willing and able to make a difference and make a change, right? Because there's a lot of people that can be stuck in the victim mentality, and that's fine if you've got a way to kind of quickly get them out of that. But then sometimes that might also create pressure on their finances and ability to invest. So you might be like, well, you want to get really clear on the profile of who that woman is. And I'm not trying to discriminate and say women who are victims of domestic violence don't have money to invest or a need to invest. They do. But we want to get a lot clearer on that category and who that woman is. That will help you design a program that absolutely speaks to that woman and make sure that you attract as many of those as you possibly can into a group. And then they can feel like you don't want them also to be stuck in negative cycles of communication in the mastermind. You want the mastermind to lift everyone up. So it's and we're going to talk about this. Oh, sorry, that Facebook ads is day 3, Thursday. The last day we'll talk about mastermind structure, how to ensure everyone stays positive and we don't get that Debbie Downer in a group that pulls the whole group down, right? Or gets an outlier drama queen who stuffs up the whole vibe in the group, right? So that's an important part of your curation strategy, okay? And you can see that in online courses. You can see that in people's Facebook groups. There's always someone going bananas and you're thinking, oh, that person again, they're posting, and no one says anything, but it's driving them nuts, right? There's a part of managing that's important. You want to make sure that the dialogue doesn't go downhill with sensitive subjects, or that people just hang back. Sometimes you're going to have to create the lead in setting the agenda for what that dialogue is, okay, if that makes sense. Are you going to review your structure or definition of a mastermind? Seems to be different approaches. This is Paula, I'm just answering your question here. Just recently did my first online class, which was very community, interactive, collective in nature, not me just being a talking head. So Mastermind could be my strongest next for online offering. Sure, Paul, look, and I know it might feel frustrating that I'm a bit loose in the definition of that, because I've been able to activate this concept across different offerings, right? It's mainly to think about, do the people not have access to you? Like, do they know who you are? Would you know their specific situation, their struggles, and how you're actually getting them to a plan? Maybe that is via some one-on-one sessions that are part of the program, right? That's a way to add the value. So rather than just them digesting videos and going to a Facebook group, you have access to you, whether that be, you may have in your online course, a lot of people do that, like offer detailed feedback. That is a mastermind, yes. So you should be charging another level for that. What you might see is people doing online courses and having coaches in. I don't have coaches in my program. I look at your stuff. I go, right, where do we have to go with that? Let's change that, change this headline, move this copy. Here we go, I'll pop that ad up for you so you can get it moving, right? Now, some people go, oh, that's not scalable. Well, it's not if you charge too little for it, right? So you might already be offering a mastermind and not even know. That's the undercharging, over-delivering thing, okay? So you will only need a few small tweaks, and one of those tweaks may just be price. You might not have to change anything. It may be, also what I find is that because people keep their prices low, they want to keep the course shorter. And in doing so, they do a disservice to their buyer or their client, right? Because they know that there's no way you're going to overcome the problem in 6 weeks, but you don't want to deliver more than 6 weeks for your 297 or your 497 because it's giving too much, right? So then what you do is you almost take away the result because you're too scared people won't invest, but people want the result. So what I want to show you is a way to go deeper, engage, and have the conversion that they can get that result. And you can create a container that feels really good for you, that's not over-delivering, that is leverage, that they invest at a higher level because you're actually going to get them the result, right? Like, fancy that. I know you can't be responsible. It is a collaboration. But what if we set our clients up for the best success possible rather than, okay, what price should we do? Oh, let's do it for that period and then let's convert. Not that I'm saying, Paula, that you did that. But it's just a matter of going, okay, well, is 6 weeks the best amount of time to set people up for success? Oftentimes when I ask my clients that, well, how long does it take to lose 20 kilos? You've got a 6-week program. Can they do it in that time? It's unrealistic, right? So let's set people up for success. There's still a way of getting the message there that takes people through and gets them understanding that you can still get them some results, in advance and quickly, and you can fast track them, but that they'll need some support for integration, or there's other things that's going to come up that they're going to need your help with that might take a longer period of time. And they also get to be part of a supportive collective that rises everyone up, and the value of that is absolutely infinite. Okay, so yeah, oh good, I'm glad, Cass, that resonated as well. So yes, so basically with that, hopefully that makes sense, Paula. If you're still a bit hazy on that, please let me know, because I know it can seem a little confusing because there can be a fine line of what people are delivering. But generally what I mean is that you're going to need lots, hundreds of people to make your online course work, versus a smaller number of people to get great transformation and hit your income targets, okay? Okay, just renaming to Mastermind rather than class, calling out. Yeah, cool, that makes sense, Paula. Let me just see the rest of your comments. Sorry, I have to keep pressing these buttons. Already have a mastermind. Voila, exactly, Paula. You actually, this is the thing, people are just thinking it's just an online course, but it could be super powerful and you'll be getting these results. So we just need to repackage it. Maybe there's an onboarding call when they first come in. So you get a sense of, right, it's just, this is what I do with my program. Everyone comes in one-on-one with me. We map out where exactly they are and where they need to get started to get the best results. That way, I've talked to the person. I know exactly where they're at. They're just not another number coming in. we have a better sense of where they are, and we can follow their journey and help them get there in a much more personalized and custom way than you can in just a faceless group of a faceless sea of buyers in an online course. Hopefully that makes sense, Paula. And Monica, you have one for teachers. I love the teacher category. I've had some clients in that category before. I'm just trying to press that so it opens up, and it doesn't want to. It's been really exciting, but it's free right now. Okay, so and look, free masterminds, that, like, I'm not here to go, you can't do it, but it's going to be very hard to graduate people in a free mastermind to a paid opportunity, particularly if you're stuck in over delivery. Okay, so yes, you did create a mastermind, Nancy. Let's price it appropriately and sell it appropriately, and let's go. This is a very common trap that people have fallen into. Back to Monica. I wish I could. Oh, here we go. Now it's opened up for me. Modules cost $19. My thought is that I can get some testimonials and then relaunch this much higher value. I'm hitting the struggle of my niche, being nervous to pay. Yeah, I find that with teachers or the people teaching teachers, that comes up time and time again. So that teachers don't have a high degree of disposable income. So but there is a high pain point there. So what are they struggling with most that we can get them out of that may free up their finances, or free up their or really connect with the pain that they're in to take them to another solution, so they are happy to invest. Because sometimes you could look at a whole raft of industries where people are still, you think, oh, they don't have the money, but people will invest when we have the right opportunity there. So I think that might be an issue where we just need to sort of dial in your message to market and make sure that the value is really strong there. But yeah, look, $19 US, you're probably finding, like, if you could get a whole stream of traffic there. And what's that site where you do there's all those downloadables, teacher materials and stuff? Like, people who do things on that site where you're tapping into another place's traffic can do really, really well. I can't remember the name of that site. You probably can. So if you can tap into other people's traffic and still keep that lower price, I know that's not what we're talking about in today's workshop. Those things can still work, right? But if you've got a small list and you're struggling with 19, that's why you're struggling with 19 USD offers, because you've got a small list and you just haven't got the volume there, and it might not be converting at the rate. Teachers pay teachers, that's it. Teachers pay teachers. I love that site. So you need to have created that. Buy stuff on there. But because they've got the low cost model, right? I know that's not helpful. I was just having a joke, but there might be a way to tap into that market somehow, or whatever. Yes, just do it in another post, Kathy, with that link as well, so it doesn't get lost in here. And yes, Udemy does that too, Carol. I've actually got a client in my mastermind who she's the most prolific online course creator I've ever come across. She's got 80 courses on Udemy. Can you imagine completing and actually creating 80 online courses? But they average for $10. So we're packaging that up into a very different offering. It'll still, have a bit of an online course element to it, but it's going to be radically different in price, okay? Yeah, Monica, that's the thing, 400 lists. You could be, imagine if you just got 4 people paying you a much higher level, if you want to get to, say, even your $5,000 a month, and maybe they were paying you $1,500 a month, 4 people, that would radically change your reality right now. But look, I get it. I think I've only recently just stopped getting nervous sending the send button on emails. Like, I always used to just go, ooh, I've got to send it. Are people going to like that? It doesn't go away. What we've got to do is keep consistent, okay? Keep consistently putting ourselves out there, even when it doesn't feel good. Because the fact is, I'm not even going to share with you today a way to take the not feeling good or the feeling unsure, the uncertainty. I'm not going to be able to take that away from you. I'm not going to be able to take away the fact that some things you do won't work, right? Some things I do don't work consistently. Like, I am a whiz with Facebook ads. Don't get me wrong. Most of the time I can get in there and RX them and fix them up, right? But sometimes I do my own ads and they bomb like crazy, and I'm like, what the hell? Why? I don't get it, right? And then I just but I just fail fast and go, didn't work today, didn't matter, I just put 20 bucks on it. So I wanted to test for 20. Did I get it validated? No. Off, let's try again. Let's look at the data, not the drama, okay? This doesn't mean that your expertise isn't good. It doesn't mean your market doesn't have money either, Monica. So let's be careful about that belief as well. Because I'm sure if you're teaching teachers, you used to be a teacher and you probably invested a lot in coaching and improvement and making a difference. And maybe it is just looking at where you have created that success and what you can teach as well, okay? So, too busy to join. Oh, right, okay. What list was that one? Oh, TPT. Oh, wow, really? Oh, you missed that opportunity. That was a corker of an opportunity, as we'd say down here. That is, I've been kicking myself too. That's super annoying. I'm sorry about that. But you see what I mean? If TPT had thought, teachers don't have any money, they wouldn't be making millions of dollars, right? So we've got to like reframe those beliefs, okay? So mistake number 4, I'm really not powering through my workbook very quickly. So let me go through this a little bit quicker. The other mistake with your online course is that you're cramming too much in, right? You're putting everything you know in one thing. It may need to be that you can dial in on the highest value part of that information. It's one of the reasons why people don't finish online courses, because there's too much to go through, right? We want to get the simplest possible path and journey to making the result happen for the clients, whether you stay in the online course world or not, okay? And we talk, mistake 5 is don't have a connected audience, right? You don't have a ready audience of people that you're connected to. So even like Monica was saying, she had 400 people and she's not emailing them, and I'm not calling you out, Monica, heaps of us do that. So I'm just saying you might be fooling yourself going, well, I do have an audience, but you're not consistently showing up and talking to them and adding value, or even making offers. So they don't know what to buy, or they don't even know what you stand for, so they don't know what to buy from you, okay? So we want to talk about, even if you've got a course and you just want to power that up, or you're thinking of creating one, or you wanted to go down this mastermind route, I want to share with you the essentials of what you can be doing with your expertise, particularly if you have created one. Because the mastermind model gives you the opportunity to serve your clients at a deeper level. That's the main difference. We're going deeper. We're knowing our clients on a deeper level. You're able to charge more. So typically a mastermind is more expensive than an online course, right? It's typically longer as well, okay, to allow the community to connection to flourish and allow the collective to really deliver a lot of the value as well, which is the clients coming together. The best part is you can create it with what you already have, okay? Even if you're not a big guru, or even if you're just getting started. Gives you the opportunity to create something bigger than you too. This isn't just about you and your expertise. So when you aren't feeling confident that you have all the answers, or that you're the best in category, what it does is it gives you can be the curator of those results, right? Your framework can still be applied to get people results, but really what makes people stay and have an amazing transformational experience is the group itself, right? And when you charge too little and you do the course for too little a time, you don't have the opportunity to get those kind of transformations and connections to flourish. So hopefully that illustrates a little more about what a mastermind is too. It can be a group program that's purely online, a mix of in-person and virtual experiences, and can be different time periods. Typically it's 3, 6, 9 or 12 months. I like just going for 12 months for most big problems. And then you've sold people and you've got your monthly recurring revenue. Now you might add group experiences, you might add in-person retreats, right? You might add a certification. A certification is a great way to make your offer make sense, right? And you don't have to have it certified with a certain authority. You can be the authority, right? That's okay. You can be your own authority. Someone like Brooke Castillo does a life coaching certification. She charges $18,000 for it. It's not certified by anyone but her, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. She's got great methodology and everything and the tools to help you succeed, right? She makes $25 million last year doing that, right? So change your perspective, right, on what a mastermind could mean for you. You can start it without an online course too. You can start it with just the structure of live calls, with custom coaching, with in-person retreats, a workshop, maybe to get started and get everyone knowing each other. One of my clients did that with her Women's Circles program. But if you do have one, let's start adding more value so that you can raise the price. You can create a longer or a longer time period and different container to really get that result happening as well. Live events, certifications, whatever it might be. So let's talk about those 4 essentials. Price is probably the first place, apart from message, we're going to need to start, but we're going to need to look at price and container. Yes, Amanda, I know it's easy to be guilty of these things, right? But yeah, so using price as a positive marketing tool, how to be reassuringly expensive, right? Like, so that people get that they're invested. Well, they might not get it. Just the action of investing can get them more invested in their results. And if you have a framework to take people through as well, that's where, if you've already created an online course, fantastic, because you can still use that as a framework that adds value, but you're going to be there helping people with custom advice and feedback to get through it as well. So I want you to think about how you can be creating an offer that's at least $2,000, because that's what's going to start to move the needle on a lot more. You might come straight out of the gate with a $10,000, $15,000, $25,000 offer. My first mastermind was $25,000 for, oh no, sorry, I lied. That was the second year. First one, I wasn't lying on purpose, by the way. I just forgot. The first year I was nervous about, I wanted to do a 12-month, but I was too scared that no one would buy it. So what I did is in 2013, I did a 6-month mastermind. Keep in mind that I'd done, yes, and I'll get to that, Cass. Keep in mind that I'd done a $97 online course previously. So I was going for a $97 Facebook ads course to go into a mastermind. It wasn't just Facebook ads. It was about online marketing, online business and growing and business growth. I made it 6 months, $9,000. Okay. So I sold, 9 people into that from a live 1-day workshop that I charged $97 for. I don't even think I had a webinar. I think I had some other people coming to me naturally or whatever, but most of the people came from that 1-day workshop, right? That I ran ads to the workshop. So instead of going, it feels so daunting to go, shit, well, how am I going to put $9,000 on my sales page and get people coming to that? You don't. All you do is you sell the first step, right? You sell the conversion event, whether that be a live workshop in person, like I did, to make $81,000, which I thought no one would buy. Bullshit, right? Just these lies we tell ourselves. I previously sold $97. I didn't do a certification to learn how to sell that or teach how to sell that. What I did was make sure I had an offer with a proposition. I had some retreats to activate it so that they were coming to get connection, support, guidance, advice from someone who knew more than they did about what they wanted to learn. And in fact, that first mastermind, I think there were about 3 7-figure entrepreneurs in there eventually. Like, they didn't all do it like in that 6 months, but I had Amanda Daly, who now has a 7-figure health coaching business, which she came to me with a health coach business, and I said to her, why don't you teach health coaches marketing? We also had Tammy Guest, who came with a naturopath clinic, and I helped her with that. Even though I knew nothing about running a naturopath clinic, we talked about, okay, how can you drive that with online? Now she teaches other naturopaths how to grow their clinics. So I'm sure she's at 7 figures. I haven't talked to her for a while, but I'm sure she is. And Fiona as well, another one of my clients who started her own consulting business. So it wasn't even an online business. And in fact, I never really taught her much online. We tried it, didn't really work. There were other techniques that we used to position her business that now brings in $4 million in revenue. When she started with me, she was making a couple of $100,000 working on commission for someone else, right? So that to CEO of $4-5 million business, she probably hit 5 million. So that from that 6 month mastermind that initially made me $80,000, right? Which, how was I going to get $80,000 with a $97 Facebook ads course, right? My other thing that I was doing at the same time, and that I didn't give up, mind you, was charging $5,000 a month to run people's Facebook ads, right? So I was doing that at the same time, but can I tell you how much harder doing the Facebook ads for people was? Like, yes, I could get people results, but if that was a stupid thing to keep doing, what I should have done is gone, great, I've done this mastermind, I'll double down on that and not burn myself out. But of course I didn't want to let go of things. I was doubting myself. The only saving grace is that I didn't doubt myself to put that 6 month mastermind out. If I'd left to my own devices, I would have. But my coach and mentor at the time, James Tramko, was like, I think you'd be good at that. You should do it. And then I didn't want to let him down. So I was like, all right, shit, I better do it. And just jumped off the cliff. Without me being in his mastermind, I wouldn't have done that mastermind, right? Because I would have talked myself out of it, stayed playing small, and not had those leaps in business that I had to be able to get that monthly recurring revenue. So per month for a mastermind, it's going to depend, when we talk about pricing, it's going to depend how long. I do have a pricing matrix I can give you as well, which will depend on how experienced you are, what your competition is offering, how long your offer is for, how much one-on-one access they get to you. So when there's sort of like some guidelines on that, remind me if I don't put it in Cass in another post, and I'll post it for you so you can work through that. And I'll give you some pricing ideas. Monthly pricing is great. Even one of my mastermind clients the other day, she had tried selling I think it was only $1,000 offer. I'm still trying to get her up in terms of price. No, it was $2,000. That's right. And she said, that the person said no. I said, well, why don't you break that down into $350 a month over 3 months or something? Or maybe it was longer. It was some ridiculous low price she had. She wouldn't budge on the price. So I said, all right, why don't you try offering it as a monthly price instead? And that can often convert a lot better. So I'm a real fan of creating longer programs for monthly amounts. And in fact, mine is 12 months and it's a monthly amount as well. Okay. So then that just like, $750 a month, you come in and you can pay $750 a month. And that's a lot easier to get started, $750 than, if you wanted to pay the whole of whatever that works out to be. I think it's like $9,000 a month or $9,000 a year or something, right? So $750 a month, yes, you still will pay that over the year, or unless you want to pay it in full and get the saving, right? But you can get started, and then the aim is that we're going to be able to get your results and get you moving, and you start getting the outcomes of what you need quickly. It doesn't mean that because you're going to be working for 12 months that you're going to have to wait till the end of those 12 months to get results, right? Or even when we talk about the price, someone like Kaylee, who was one of my clients in my mastermind, who was an emotional eating expert. She's actually a psychotherapist. She was doing an emotional eating group program in her clinic, which was charging 10 weeks. They'd come for it in person. It was still a group, which is great, but it was $500, right? So when we worked out what could her mastermind be, it actually was only, I think it was 6 to 8 weeks for $3,000. We then created the webinar and opportunity to get ads. We got the ads set up, targeted the right people, came through the webinar, so they were pre-qualified before they talked to her. Once again, we weren't selling saying, hey, come to this page, it's $3,000, right? What we're doing is like, hey, come to this webinar on demand. She didn't even have to show up. Once she got it running, it was just ads to the webinar, people understanding what her approach was, it teasing out their problem, then they go deeper. And realize that they need help. They reach out to Kaylee, have a conversation. If they're right, then they invest the $3,000. So you're not even having to you don't have to put the price anywhere. You just have to talk about the price. Sorry, I keep getting notifications on my phone, right? So that's where we change. So don't get freaked out about the price. You don't have to put it on your website. You don't have to tell every man and his dog. And you don't even have to tell them what you used to charge, right? This is your new normal, right? Okay, so Essential 1, use price as a positive marketing tool. Essential 2, build that powerful personal brand, okay? Differentiate yourself with connection, intimacy, and authority, okay? I want you to be you. I don't want you to be in this expert mode where you tell people everything and you don't admit your mistakes, or you don't relate to people and you don't show up, right? The more you can be using video and live, and you don't have to have all the glossy videos. I've paid thousands for those videos and I'm like, stiff. I was actually lucky in that my friend Jodie Jealous used to film a lot of them, but I look at them, I'll have to post some of them in here. You'll just absolutely die laughing. And then you have so much at stake, right? You pay for these videos and then they don't work, and then you're demoralized and you think it must be you. But I want you to fail faster, and you can do that on a Facebook Live, because guess what? You can just delete it and it costs nothing. I'm doing this with my iPhone for free right now, okay? So you can do that. There's nothing stopping you doing that apart from your own head junk, right? Your own mind junk saying that no one's going to listen to you. Doesn't matter. I get on live on my page all the time. I have like one person. Normally they're Amy, if Amy's still here. Thanks, Amy. I might have one person. It doesn't matter. I can still, hopefully someone else might watch that on replay, or it's just flexing my muscle, getting me used to it, okay? So create the impression of results in advance. Give your best stuff. It's okay. You're not going to create the same transformation in a Facebook Live that you're going to create in your mastermind, right? But what you are going to do is connect with their problem. Hopefully give them some insight into where they are and what they could have and what staying stuck in their own crap is going to do. And perhaps maybe move them closer to having a chat with you about how things could be different, right? And then not everyone's going to be a client that you want. So you don't have to sell them anything when we create the right consistency and differentiation with a very specific message. Next live, same time tomorrow, Kathy. For the next 3 days, we've got another 3 sessions. So, you know, a good example of that is if you don't want a lot of the traditional stuff or webinars scare you, someone like Maria in my mastermind just dove in and said, all right, I'm going to do a live in-person workshop, sold, filled 10 spaces in her mastermind. After running webinars to another online course, it just didn't get her momentum, right? I give people permission. Sometimes your online course just needs to be put to the side for a while. You don't have to bin it, but sometimes there's freedom in going, okay, well, I tried that, didn't work. I need to get a more solid message to market and actually follow my flow, my purpose and my calling rather than thinking what the market will buy. So some of you may have to leave behind what you have. And I know it's sad. I remember when I was in Marie Forleo's mastermind, believe it or not, I had this India travel business. And she goes, I don't know about this travel. Like, I don't know anything about travel. And I go, I don't even want to do it. She goes, well, get rid of it. And I'm like, oh, I can't. I've got a website. I've done all this. She goes, just get rid of it. And I did. And imagine if I hadn't, I mean, you know. So definitely, sometimes it's giving yourself the freedom to let go of those things as well. Essential 3, create momentum using Facebook, okay? So it might be just your Facebook Lives for free. It might be creating a free group. Let's ride on what Zuck is creating for us here because Facebook mandated at their F8 conference, they said, it's all about groups in Facebook. We want groups to thrive because they know that just relying on single users without connection, it's a bit like the mastermind model, right? They recognize the power of this in a disconnected society, right? That groups are where it's at. I resisted this for a while because I saw a lot of people having big groups and shutting them down. And I was like, no, I like to keep that for my mastermind clients. But what I understood was it was a great way to actually beat the algorithm. On business pages, if you keep posting on business pages, whatever. You need one to do ads, but it's not really going to do much. So what we need is groups are the new pages. So you do need a group. You don't have to post every day if you don't want to, but just if you can be doing a weekly live show, fantastic. That's all. And you don't have to plan it that much if you haven't got time. Just be showing up. And you'll notice that you also get organic growth of people coming in. You can be messaging people if you don't want to do ads and invite them to your group if you want to. It doesn't have to cost you money. But you can also get started with Facebook ads for like 20 bucks a day and start getting known and getting seen and getting people in as well. Okay, so Facebook is super important. And also, I mean, we used, things like that with the automated webinars and just Facebook ads for a client who had an anti-anxiety offer. That she was also a psychotherapist. And she got 4K clients from scratch from having the Facebook ads to the webinar again, right? So once you got the webinar dialed in, she didn't have to show up again. That's just running in the background, filling her calendar with conversations and then getting people into her program, okay? Charging for groups. Well, they're not charging for groups now, so use it. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, Kathy. Like, definitely use a group for sure. They're working right now. They might not work forever. That's okay. Use what you can now. Or if you don't want to do that and you're happy to set up a funnel and run ads, yours obviously got a few issues. I'll have a look at yours. You don't have to do a group. I'm just suggesting if you don't have the money to invest in ads, then a group can be a great option or it can be a great enhancer as well. Essential 4 is building the power of a connected community. A group does that too with the free group, but it's not going to be as powerful as the community for your mastermind, okay? So we want to get more, by saying building the community, I'm meaning in your offer. Rather than just, yes, you have the Facebook group for your online course. Everyone has that, whether it's an online course or a mastermind, but it's how can you activate more community? And generally you do that on live calls where you have laser coaching in the calls, or you have some in-person events, or you might even set up like accountability buddies or, other sort of live sessions and things like that. So hopefully that helps you kind of get moving with a bit more connection. So On that other bit, to reboot your online course, you need to create a mastermind that builds in more connection, customization, and value so you can charge more and get better results. What it's going to give you is better conversions, recurring monthly revenue that builds upon itself, okay? So once you have clients coming in, even if you do a 3-month offer at $5,000, that's a really nice way to get started, because you've got sort of the clients going in for 3-month periods, and it's evergreen, so you can be welcoming in 3 to 5 clients of that a month to get you at a really nice revenue level. And you can tell with, say you even get to 10 clients a month, that's not overwhelming even if you give a little more. Whereas what is overwhelming is you get 20 people buying a $200 online course and you're giving all that information and help to them, but for only $200, because guess what, you're going to start getting really resentful about that as well. Who here has felt that way? Because they've undercharged, and then like all of a sudden it's their fault because they want things that you've promised or you've set yourself up to deliver. Right? So it's a nightmare. So even talking about the power of a connected community or going deeper with your transformation, someone like Bridget, who had a tarot course, I think at the time before she came to one of my retreats, she was charging $297 for that tarot course. And then I said, why don't you make that a certification, like a year-long certification? And then she could charge $1,000, maybe she charges $2,000 for it. She was certifying them. She wasn't another tarot authority. It was Bridget certifying them. And now it's like most successful. Her first launch of that certification, she sent me a message saying, thanks, I made 6 figures out of that. And I was like, oh, wish I charged a commission on that. And now she's at 7 figures. So just one idea of flipping an online course that you already have, and hers was selling. It was selling okay, but it definitely wasn't doing what it needed to do. All she needed to do was flip the proposition into a certification. People weren't going, okay, well, I want to go and make lots of money as a tarot reader. What they wanted is they wanted the confidence to know that there was a solution. They were learning how to read tarot, right? Whether it was just a hobby or professionally. Right? That's more value than just, hey, here's a tarot course explaining what each of the cards mean and you can read some spreads, right? That's not as powerful and compelling as here's my tarot certification. You can learn how to read and understand tarot and apply it in your life or others, right? Sometimes it's just that shift, okay? And I love that. So hopefully that gives you a bit more of a clearer idea about what a mastermind can do. I know I haven't been concrete on what exactly a mastermind is. I know a lot of people are like, how? Tell me exactly this step, this step, this step. But one of the beautiful things is that I allow for customization because it may depend on your market. It may depend on you. It may depend on your message, right? It may depend on how long you do it for, to what you charge. But I'm more than happy to answer your questions on, you can say, I'm thinking of this offer for this long to this market. What do you think? Post it. Let me know. I'll be putting up a homework thread. And if you post in there as well, I'm going to be giving randomly, I'll choose Rafflecopter, put all the names in, don't worry, no bias, to win a $50 Sephora gift card. So you can take action. I've covered what I needed to in that workbook because often I forget that, but you've got some homework to do, right? So I want you to post that too. And go with your takeaway, have a look at your takeaways and put your homework. So Kathy, non-profit examples, obviously you're helping non-profit. I'm trying to think of when I've helped I've had some consulting clients non-profit, namely The Big Issue in Australia, which is like a homeless magazine. And I'm trying to think, another client of mine she did help non-profits, particularly in the sustainability sector. Bit more consulting than online course. So you might find that you need a specific system. What you need for non-profits is basically a promise of results in advance. Get very clear about what you can offer them in advance because they don't have a lot of money to invest because they're non-profit, right? And I'm not falling into the teacher example I'm talking about before and saying, well, they don't have money, but they don't have, they might have certain budgets that they can utilize. So you want to make it make sense that maybe rather than them needing more budget, which is often very difficult, they need to shift what they're spending money on to what you have because what you have creates better results. So maybe you just need to really demonstrate that more clearly in upfront. So you want to create content that gets noticed and gets their attention, okay? So event fundraising, fantastic. That's a great opportunity because obviously you have a way to actually demonstrate your value. I haven't worked specifically with that, but I love that message. I think that that's their biggest challenge. It's what they're all striving to get better at. So you've got to actually be able to show and demonstrate results in advance. If you haven't got testimonials, which I'm sure it sounds like you might, it's how can your framework show them that even if you share that framework and they get some instant results, they're going to be way happier to go, hey, we want to invest in that program, or we want to be part of Kathy's community. I'm sure I did have someone in that realm. I'm trying to remember her name. I did have someone. She wasn't in my mastermind. She was in one of my online courses. And yeah, that was always the struggle, that they wouldn't want to invest. But when we get we need to get the proposition right. It's going to be I'm going to be really interested to have a look at your ads. Your other issue there would be fine targeting your ads, right? You're going to get a lot of wastage, which is probably what's happening, because there's no clear target for non-profit organizations. So you may also need to flip to LinkedIn to start direct messaging, adding connections as another parallel strategy, because if you get something like Sales Navigator, you can actually search non-profit organisation staff and people that you could connect with as well. Thanks, Glenda. I'm glad you liked it. Sorry, I know I go on and on like a 2-bob watch, but I get excited about this stuff. So, you know, you can always just zip through later on the replay if you don't want to listen to all of it. So Paula, animal communications, finding yourself by connecting to animals. Okay, cool. All right, that's super cool. I think someone else signed up in a bit of that equine therapy realm as well. All of that stuff, it doesn't, like, trust me, I've had coaches across so many different niches. We can always find a message that works. If I think you're totally off, I'll tell you. I'll just say, look, I think you might need to go more in this direction and not in that, okay? And that's the difference of working with a coach who has a mastermind rather than an online course. You can't go on one of Amy's webinars generally as not a client, or maybe just even, and get in-depth help from her on how to craft your message. So what happens is people keep trying to apply the techniques to a broken foundation, and that's what we want to fix first, or go and spend $650 getting 87 opt-ins, right? And half of those will unsubscribe by the next email, right? That is not a sustainable way to grow your business, and I know you know that, Kathy. I'm going to help you with yours. And Angela, I'm glad you liked it. Thanks for letting me tag you before and remind you that we're here. Same time tomorrow. Do your homework, people. Ask questions in here. I'm here to help. I geek out on this stuff. I love it. As you can tell, I go on and on. I got to wrap up. Otherwise, you'll never come to another one of my lives again. All right, my lovely people. Friends, have a great evening or day. I know it's late for you over in the States. I love coming on here. I cannot wait till tomorrow. I'll send you an email reminder or a messenger reminder. That reminds me, I didn't even tag my messenger people, but we had some good people coming here. So workbook, homework, let's do it. See you tomorrow, Cass. Can't wait. And take care, everyone. Loved seeing you here. Bye.